Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Bill Alexander, the owner of Alpine Web Media. He's here today to talk about artificial intelligence, AI. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Thanks, Scott.
My question is, are you really Bill Alexander, or are you an AI version of Bill, and is the real Bill still sleeping?
Well, we're pretty close to that. Pretty soon we'll be using ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity to create avatars of ourselves that probably look and sound exactly like us. And we can just sit there and sip on a coffee while the AI does all the work for you. So, yeah.
Well,
scary enough, it could be true.
Right. Well, before we get going, I had a security person on here from a bank, as in they try to maintain security of your money and such. And they said they've actually now had to, because of AI and other technology, they've had to put multiple steps in. If you call them up for them to confirm that they're talking to you, they've had to put new steps in place and to make sure it isn't only your voice that is being used. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because now it can clone voices, and it's advancing quickly. It's almost accelerating day by day at a rapid rate. So it's going to be very difficult pretty soon to be able to tell what's real and what's not. I mean, right now, one of the things is just being able to go in and, as far as text and things like that, to verify whether it's AI text or whether it's human text. And there are ways even around that now that you can disguise AI text as human text. So it's going to get even more advanced to that. And then people are going to wonder what they're going to do, I guess.
Now, you've been involved in the technological world for a long time. By the time most people are our age, we've lost total touch with technology, but you haven't yet. You must have been one of the first internet people in this region when it first started coming out.
Yeah, I was one of the first in Vermont to have internet access, and the first in Vermont to work with web technology back when I was living in Newport. And matter of fact, it was such a new technology that IBM and Essex Junction hired me to come down and supervise the team to build their first intranet system at IBM and Essex Junction. So I was there for several years doing that.
Darcy McCann, the former long-term head of the Northeast Kingdom Chamber of Commerce, when she tried to get them to build a website at first, there were people on the board, she said, that thought this was fleeting technology and that there was probably no need for it because it would be, it wouldn't be around much longer. Well, look at us today.
Yeah.
So what is AI? Because I'm finally starting to get somewhat of a grasp, but not total.
AI, artificial intelligence, is basically a network of computer systems that are all interlinked together, communicating back and forth together and sharing data. And there are a number of different platforms. It started with ChatGPT and OpenAI. Now we have Claude, we have Perplexity, we have all the Chinese competitors, we have Manus. There are just so many of them now. And then we have, on top of that, each one of them has different models that do different things or work at different complex levels of AI. So, and even down to voice AI, video AI, where you're seeing some of these videos like on YouTube and Facebook and so forth, where you've got politicians that are dressed up like clowns and stuff like that. It looks just like them, and they're doing crazy things, and it's really going to get to the point where you don't know what's reality and what's fake. But the one thing I will point out is that in terms of photography, it's still got a ways to go, because I see a lot of people. I have a Facebook page and a website called Vermonter.com where I post a lot of images, and I know you do too, on the Northland Journal. And every now and then we'll see people posting AI images of Vermont that kind of sort of look like Vermont, but not exactly.
Yeah.
They can't pinpoint it right down to the detail of a photograph, at least now. So that's kind of the good thing. It's still got a ways to go, but man, I'll tell you, generic images and so forth, it does an unbelievable job that can outpace a human.
That make it like it, you can basically make an, I don't know what the term would be, an electronic,
Avatar?
a computer clone of yourself.
Yeah, you're talking about an avatar, yes. And you can do that now. I could do it right now. I could be, for all you know, I could be an avatar of myself talking to you, using my voice, using my image. That technology is available now. I mean, you may have seen it. It's been a while. Back when the presidential elections, they had Joe Biden and Donald Trump complimenting each other and saying nice things and saying bad things. So that technology's been available for a while. It's called deep fakes.
Do you know? Do you know one thing I noticed after seeing? No disrespect to the late Pope, but I saw so many AI versions of him with as a as an angel. You know, they had wings on them. I decided that angels kind of creep me out because I've watched so many angels now because they transformed him into angels, and I saw then he's surrounded by angels, and I don't know why, but yeah, angels and their wings sticking out of their backs kind of creeps me out. But yeah, when the Pope died, there were images of him in every scenario, you know, walking, you know, arriving in heaven. He was then other times he's fighting the devil. And that's why I really asked you to come on, because, you know, I've watched, and it's just, you know, we still have people alive who grew up without electricity or
Mhm.
phone. And now they're seeing, you know, you think about what those people have seen in their lifetime.
Yeah, that's true. And what's really scary is the fact that the people that have invented AI, they don't even know what's coming. Um, I believe the person, I might get it wrong, I think his name is Jeffrey Hinton. I might be wrong on the last name, I can't remember for sure. He's what they call the godfather of AI. And if you go to YouTube and look him up, if you want to really find out what's going on, watch his videos that he did interviews with CBS. And it's really scary because he's one of the founders of it. And he's basically saying that the cat's out of the bag and nobody knows where the cat's going to run to. And, you know, some really good stuff can happen, but some very bad stuff might be coming down the way too. So it's scary
You know,
when it reaches general
it only
intelligence.
seems fitting. It only seems fitting that you're in this technology world because, you know, from your previous days uh, before all this internet came out, you were Trekkie, you were a Trekkie type guy, then lost in space, and you even became internet for phone friends or whatever with the doctor on.
Yeah. I used to, back before the internet, one of my hobbies was I had a whole bunch of toys and collectibles. I used to take really good care of my stuff, and I found out they were worth money. So I started selling them at conventions, at sci-fi conventions, Star Trek conventions. So I got to know a lot of the actors from Star Trek. I think the very first one I met was James Doohan, who was Mr. Scott on Star Trek, and I met him in St. Johnsbury. And it's kind of funny because he was pulling my hair, because back then I had a lot of hair, and we were joking around. And then the last time I saw him was in Burlington, Mass. And it was funny because he had a hotel room next to mine, and he was having trouble with the ice machine. I mean, imagine that, Scotty from Star Trek, and he doesn't know how to work the ice machine. So I helped him out. But I got to know a lot of them. And one that became a very good friend was named Jonathan Harris from a TV show called Lost in Space. He became a very, very good friend. We used to write back and forth and send Christmas presents. And when he'd make an appearance down in Boston, we would run down and meet him at his hotel and have drinks with him and so forth. So even to this day, I still have some of them that are friends of mine. After a while, you begin to look at them like they're you and I, just regular people. And sometimes I catch hell because I don't keep in touch with them enough, and vice versa. So, everybody's got their thing.
So the doctor from Lost in Space was in the real world. He wasn't this Weasley character.
No, he was a very nice guy, but he did talk exactly like he did on the TV show. And he would call me up every now and then. And if I missed a convention where he was at, he'd call me, "Where the hell were you? I was waiting, but you never showed up." Yeah. So I miss him a lot. And his wife was really nice too. I miss them both.
So when you started in this, well, do you have any idea what year it was that you started dabbling in the internet?
Yeah, it was back around 1990, and I have to thank Serge Vachon of Newport. He lived up the street from me on Autumn Street, and he's the one that turned me on to computers. It was the very first PC that came out, and it was like $3,000 for this thing, and it was a lot of money. But I thought, man, I just got to have that. It's so neat. And now you couldn't sell one for 50 cents because they're ancient. But he got me into it. And from there, after learning how to use the computer, the internet came out. And Serge was right onto that. And I was too. We were one of the first group of people to have internet access in Vermont, which was how I was able to get Vermonter.com and my other websites back then. In the beginning, had I known I had bought up a whole bunch of domains, I'd probably be rich if I'd have done that back then. But yeah.
Yeah, because Vermonter.com, I know over the years you've had people wanting to buy that domain from you.
Yeah, and I thought I might get rid of it at one point because I was too busy with other things, but thankfully I rethought it over and decided not to. And now with AI, the main thing was it used to take me a good day to create one article. Now I can do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how that's all done. Maybe I ought to learn that. But you know what I have found though with the AI for facts and everything, it still has a way to go because I don't know what they do for fact checking.
They don't. They don't do anything. And that's the thing. Yeah, you definitely have to fact check AI because it isn't perfect yet, and it will hallucinate. It will create things that aren't true, or it'll extend something into something that's not true. So there are tools out there that supposedly will go through and humanize the AI writing to a point where somebody reading it, it's not going to sound robotic, but it's getting very, very good at simulating. I mean, you can go in and give it a command to write like Stephen King or in the style of Ray Bradbury, and it'll create a book for you. But again, you've got to go in because it'll tend to extrapolate words and sentences in ways that are still a bit robotic. But I'd say give it another year or so, and it's going to be almost impossible to tell.
Yeah, because I've we've had, on some of my posts, there's all kinds of ongoing discussions about what the topic was, and then AI comes on. If you have the AI thing, it synthesizes that whole discussion about, and I'd say it's 80% accurate. But the thing is, what I find that AI can't do in those cases, it can't do the nuances of our words and our
Exactly.
language, and so it uh, doesn't capture everything. So how are you using it? Because you are a web designer and you do multiple other things. Are you using AI within your work
Yeah, I
now?
use it as a business partner all the time. I mean, I have it set up so that I have it. I've created roles for it that I tell it you're a financial advisor. Look at my tax returns. Tell me how I can optimize that. What I should be changing as far as my deductions or investments and things like that. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's all the things that I used to have to pay a lot of money for. Now I can do it myself, and I use the AI as an assistant. And
I have no idea how you do that. I'm so I have that much knowledge of this whole thing. I didn't. You just like told me things I didn't
well, the
know.
one thing I do want to make very clear, the most important thing of all is something called prompting. And prompting is what you give it for instructions to make the AI give you the outcome that you want. So the very first thing that you need to learn is go to YouTube and look up how to prompt AI. And there are a lot of resources out there that'll help you because you're going to get out of it what you put in. If you just give it a very generic question, then you're going to get somewhat of a vague answer. But if you give it a very detailed question, or you upload a document or a photo or whatever, it'll analyze everything for you. So it's not going to read your mind. So you basically, it's up to you to direct it in the way that you want the results to come forth.
So do you think, you know, well, technology as a whole, but technology as a whole and AI, is this a good thing for society or a bad thing or a mixed bag?
I think it's probably a mixed bag. I'm worried about it for the main reason that I think it's like little kids playing with fire. 90% of the world doesn't know what they're doing with this. And out of that 90%, some of them aren't good people at all. And they're going to have the same access to it that you and I or the Pope or anybody else with the best intentions ever has. It's going to replace a lot of people's jobs. I can see where law firms are probably going to reduce their staff substantially because they're not going to need people to do research anymore. They can have somebody in the office. One person can research with AI rather than a team of 4 or 5. So um,
No.
something wicked this way comes, I guess, but try to be optimistic, I guess.
Okay, talking from a person who knows very little about this, it would seem to me then, don't teachers have to be on the ball to find if they have the students write reports to actually try to determine whether they actually wrote the reports or whether AI did? Because isn't there a lot of room for cheating?
Yeah, there is, but I have a feeling that teachers are going to be on the chopping block. Probably they're going to be one of the first to go, as along with colleges. You're not going to need colleges anymore. I've been watching a lot of research videos on that, and basically, AI can basically replace professors and teachers rather easily. And again, it's going to be more on policing the students to make sure they're doing the work. There's just a lot of things it's going to affect, and it's going to put a lot of people out of work that, for good or bad, it's just something that people are going to have to adapt to. And change accordingly, or else they're going to get left behind. So, but again, I
So,
mean, even the godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton, doesn't really know what's coming. But the good thing is, I guess, as far as medical technology, it's going to replace a lot of doctors, because a lot of the research that they have to do and everything is going to be replaced by AI. So medical technology is expected to grow by leaps and bounds. I mean, as it is now, I've been to the doctor, I can't tell you how many times, and the first thing they do is they go and Google something. And in my case, I had shingles in my eye several years ago. And I went to 2 doctors, and they got on their computers and tried to look it up, and they misdiagnosed both times. I went home, and I looked on my computer, and I diagnosed it correctly. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I diagnosed my own problem with the shingles in my eye. And I went back and told them that. And why do you need to pay a doctor when you can go home and diagnose it yourself?
you know, Bill, I got to say, it was because of your run-in with shingles that I went and got my shingles shot, because you told me that was no fun. And so at least you got something good came out of your run-in with shingles. So hopefully now I won't get it.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst periods of my life, to have shingles in the side of my face, in my eye. And I couldn't be out in the sunlight at all. It was like almost blinding. It was horrible, and I was really scared. And thankfully, it took a couple of years to get rid of it, but I finally did. Thank God.
You know, we talked about a couple technological shows, but one that kind of predicted some of this to a degree was the Jetsons.
Yeah,
You know, you looked at that wild technology that we grew up with. You know, they had cell phones, they had video phones. They also had, I believe, holograms, or a lot of the stuff has come to fruition now.
yeah, and it's even exceeded that, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What can we do now that was on Star Trek that we couldn't do when we grew up with Star Trek?
This, communicators,
Oh, yeah.
just like on Star Trek. Beam me up,
That's true.
beam me up.
Tell me, you said you got to know Scotty on Star Trek. Did you at least once say to him, "Beam me up, Scotty"?
No, but I will tell you, these are direct from Star Trek. The person that came out with the very first portable phones like that, it was modeled after the communicator on Star Trek. So this is it. It's real. Yeah.
So do you think we'll ever get to the point where you can actually beam somebody up? I don't think so, but
No, I doubt
what do
that.
I know?
I really don't. I doubt that.
Well, if they do, I want them to put some of my molecules, a little bit different, a
Yeah.
little bit differently. I'd like a new look. So what do you see in the future of AI now?
Well, right now, I mean, I'm trying to remain on the optimistic side of things. So I see that, like I said, medical technology is going to improve vastly, according to what all the experts are saying. So that's a really good thing. As far as I don't know what people are going to do as far as work. I mean, they're saying that people won't have to work, but if you're not working, what are you going to do? I mean, I like working, so I don't know. I mean, nobody really knows what's coming down the pike, and all I can say, I'm just worried about some of the bad actors out there, and the robots that they're creating. There's a video on YouTube the other day about some AI robot that went nuts and started smashing everything, and it was in Japan, I think, and they got them.
Yes, I saw that.
So
And
who knows? I don't know. Hopefully, we won't
you
have
know
a
what?
Terminator situation someday. So
people believe everything they see too, and I mean every age group. Like I see things on, and it's not even AI, but I see things on the internet that are obviously
Hmm.
fake. And, like, well, President Lincoln said he was concerned about the future of computer technology. And people, that's a little bit of exaggeration, but people say, look, even President Lincoln was concerned about the future of computer technology. And so what I'm saying is people are really
Yeah.
gullible. And so when you get this reels thing with, you know, with your face saying things that you would never
Hmm.
say, that's I certainly think that it's certainly going to impact politics
Yeah.
for probably
Yeah.
forever.
I mean, honestly, if I had my way, there would be no internet. There would be no AI. We'd go back to things the way they were in the 70s and 80s because people would get together. You'd go to the mall, they'd be full of people talking, eating together. Uh, these days, you can't even get friends from school or whatever. You call them up, everybody's too busy or they want to talk on their phone. Uh, Nobody gets together anymore. It's sad. I mean, really.
No, you
Families,
well, as we
everybody. It's they're all on their phones.
that and at least when I'm overseas in the Philippines, even though they have high technology, for the most part, you can going to the Philippines is like going back to our youth in so many ways. Yeah, you do have the cell phones that kind of get in the way of living, but on the other hand, is it's just a simpler time. I happen to love the internet because from my work as a writer, I can go in to if I need to read something that's in a library over in California or over in Manila, I can go right, no problem. I don't have to wait now for a book to arrive or
Hmm.
something. Well, we've got to wrap up here in a bit. And if you are not Bill, and if you are a hologram, just say hello to Bill when you see him. But I know a lot of people who know nothing about technology thinks that's an exaggeration, but it's not an exaggeration
No, it's
anymore.
not.
Do you think? Do you think you're going to live long enough to see even more massive
Yeah.
changes?
I mean, things are they're accelerating rapidly. I mean, I've seen just in the past couple of years, the faster things go, the faster they're getting. So it's just really, really within 6 months, you're going to see a lot of stuff change. The more the AI, the more the
Now you
AI
have
grows, the faster things are going to change, and it's growing very, very
like
fast.
like a 9, 10 year old daughter,
Hmm.
right? Is it
Yeah,
nine,
she's
ten?
8.
Uh, oh, are they learning? Are they learning any of this stuff in school
No,
yet?
there's she's still trying to get the alphabet and the numbers and all that, but
Yeah, I didn't know if they start kids at that young or not
no,
because
not that I know of.
well,
No, they're still doing the basics. So
oh well,
yeah, it
that's
is.
good. Okay, well, so you what is your website if they want to check you out
Well,
at Alpine
yeah, I've
Web?
got two of them. My business website, where for web design, which I'm still doing that and still working with clients, and I've got all sorts of new tools in the bag as far as to help people with their businesses. So, alpinewebmedia.com is where I just started posting more AI related articles. And my other, my fun website is vermonter.com, where I just have a lot of stories and feature a lot of your stories and Joe Citro's books and all the fun stuff that I enjoy doing.
Well, in closing, I've got to give a shout out to Bill because Bill has dragged me and my business kicking and screaming into technology. And I will tell you, as Bill will attest, I have very little knowledge of technology, but he has helped connect me with like Equid. Equid is great for my business, and it's been
Yeah,
super.
that's your e-commerce
You
platform.
brought
Yeah.
me right, and that's been super. Bill really knows what he's doing. He's very attentive. So if you have some website needs, give Bill a call or check him out on the internet.
No, thanks.
And all right, well, thanks for coming on.
Okay. Live long and prosper.
And thank you. And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.